All right, guys, it's Cap Daniel Kim. In today's video, I'm kind of repeat this. I made a kind of video about this, but this is like actually important. Why you must use Instagram for dating in year 2023. Okay, so an interesting thing just happened to me, right? So one of my students, I've been in Dubai taking care of his scam. I actually manage all his stories, his posts, and everything like that. It's a beta test. I just want to see if I could kind of replicate what I did with my Instagram and bring it on to him. Am I making him an influencer with over 100K followers? No, I just made his Instagram very, how do I say, very pleasurable to the eye, where, you know, when girls look at his Instagram, they know what he is, who he is, what he does, and basically all the attractive qualities in my client, I've been portraying that on his Instagram. And like, if you listen to this, right, I truly believe that each one of you have the attractive qualities that you're not portraying. And if you don't, then we need to work on that. Because if you're not you don't have attractive qualities now, that's probably a huge issue. But most of my Asian clients that I work with, you know, they usually have prospered in some kind of way. Usually their business, their career, they usually have a really good white collar job, or they're just successful. But other than that, they worked on that so much that their other kind of assets in their life, their attractive qualities in their life, has kind of faltered. And this could be their health, their looks, their fashion, all that stuff. So what I did with this client is I've been working, I've been posting, I've been doing all these things, and kind of like, you know, we've been going to the same places together. So basically he would post kind of the same thing as me, but I would basically record him and kind of show him what I do with my Instagram. And, you know, the results were, if you actually go to my DiamondAsianDating.com and my Facebook group, it actually, you can see his results. We actually did an interview about it, but I'm not gonna post it here. But something interesting happened today where I'm kind of shocked, right? So, you know, in the dating journey, there's kind of two ways you go when you first start the dating journey. So every man supplements his game with something, right? Usually it's money, right? Most of my clients is money. They use money in game, and like, because they think they're not attractive, right? They're like, I'm not attractive enough to use game and looks, right? And, you know, I kind of get it. I usually, my clients are shorter, and I'm kind of like, okay, you know, I get it. I'll show you other ways. But with this client, I never personally asked him, but I think this is the first time you really heard someone say this to him. But he didn't know, because I actually got a response from a DM. So I'm dating this girl, and her friend, I guess, saw a tag pic of my client and said, oh my God, he's hot. And she's texting me, hey, my friend thinks your client is hot. And I remember I messaged that, and, you know, like, I'm gonna actually talk to him when he gets back from his flying. But most guys that I work with never been called hot. And I actually been working with another client who was constant Instagram photos. And I remember he did a photo shoot in one country. And I just remember, like, I didn't have to edit it that much. And I was like, bro, you're actually looking for a model. And then his photographers that he worked with, that he, you know, goes to Airbnb or whatever I set him up for, they all saying, like, are you a model in like America and stuff? Like, my students have never heard that before. Like, they never thought that investing in looks, investing in fashion, investing in Instagram will make them physically attractive. They usually think there's other ways to make them attractive, aka game, using their vibe and their words, verbal game. But their physical, they never thought. They just said, I use money, and I use kind of money to get my, use money and like get stuff, get a nice car, or maybe like clothes, you know. But that's what they thought they had to use. But you know what Instagram does is basically you're creating yourself, right? It's a curator of an art gallery, right? So every art gallery, there's different art galleries, right? And, you know, everyone has a specific art, but like, even the art gallery, there's something called interior design. Have you heard about interior design and all this stuff, right? So you can make things more attractive by putting things around it, right? So what I've been doing with my clients is I'm not just using them as models. So of course, a lot of clients come to me like, oh, you look a certain way. Like, that's why I'm out here is gonna say, you look like that, you have the body, you have the abs, but your clients don't. How are you gonna help me get girls through my attractive qualities? But here's the thing, right? It's all about telling a story, and it's all about making you attractive in your own kind of way. And what I've been doing with each client, yes, do I take them to the same places, but it's usually the place I take them is what girls will like. But it's about kind of portraying their personality, kind of writing certain things on their captions, and just like creating a lifestyle that makes their life attractive in other women's eyes. Because I'll be honest, I can't have with some of these clients their lifestyles, right? I don't have a, you know, like sometimes I'm not a pilot, sometimes I'm not a, sometimes I don't even have resources that they have, right? I'm going to get there, but I'm not going to have those resources right away, right? Some of my clients are very, very, very well off. But, you know, the thing is, I realized that when I help my students with Instagrams, they actually become more physically attractive. They start getting rewarded for looking good physically. So they start losing weight, they start going to fashion, they start like taking care of their hair, they start looking really good. And a lot of them change their physical appearance in a very positive way. I'm not saying they become male models or Brad Pitt, and even I haven't, but I'm saying they actually squeeze out all the lemons and make the most lemonade they can, the sweetest or the best lemonade they can with all the lemons that they're given. So what I'm trying to say is what I've been doing with Instagram is the more they get rewarded for their looks, their photos, and their lifestyle, my students are actually becoming more attractive in real life. And I actually told this story to a lot of people, but this is kind of the opposite, where one of my students met one of my girls, and we met them, and it was just one of the girls I was dating, and he was like, whatever. He was like, oh yeah, she's cute, right? But then I remember I showed her his Instagram. I was like, yo, you should follow her. You just met her. You should be friends. He goes on her Instagram, and we're in the car. He just met her. We're going back home to eat. Going back after we eat. And he looks at her Instagram and he goes, wow, she's hot. She's attractive. And I was like, bro, you just met her. What are you talking about? How do you think she's like hot now, but you didn't think she was? Yes, was she more dressed down, more casual? But I feel like girls have learned something that a lot of men don't. So girls spend a lot of time before they post. If you actually think about all the Kendall Jenners, all the really big influencers, you think they just post? No, they Photoshop. They make themselves look taller. They make them look skinnier. They like spend a decent amount of time on their post, and they actually think about it before they post. Men, we're just like post. We don't think about who's going to be watching that post. So am I saying that like I've taken the secrets of women and showing to the men? Yeah, I am doing that. I'm doing that for myself because here's the thing, right? Women are very visual creatures. I'm not saying all of them are, but they like looking at things and feeling a certain way, right? So for example, when you guys look at something as a man, like for example, fashion or even some kinds of art, we don't appreciate it as much, right? We look at it if it's like, actually, I feel like men, we like blocks, right? It's just like perfect lines, perfect symmetry and everything like that. Girls do too, but I think women also embrace chaos in a way where like, they look at something, they want to feel some kind of emotions. That's why if you watch a movie that girls like, right? Like Gone Girl, right? Gone Girl is a good movie, and there's a couple other movies that are very dramatic, and you're just like, why do women love that? Okay, for example, the best movies that you can think about, 50 Shades of Grey, and also like Twilight series, right? Why do women love that and I don't? But I thought they were terrible movies. But there's so much drama in those, right? And they causes multiple emotions. Like if you watch Twilight, and actually study Twilight, and I study Sex and the City, and all these shows, there's always like a very high, a very low, very high, very low, very high. It just goes back and forth. There's like emotions consistently throughout the whole show or the movie. So I realized when a woman looks at a man, she wants to feel something. She doesn't want you to come to her and you make her feel a certain way by saying 1 + 1 = 2. So me plus you equals happiness. She's not gonna feel that way. She needs to feel happiness before logically she decides to be with you. So even when she decides to be, it's not logical. She's emotionally making a decision. That's why you have girls have these things called buyer's remorse, right? That's why when sometimes you're intimate with a girl, she ghosts you the next day, and you're just like, what? Like, why'd you ghost me? This happened to me recently where I was dating this girl, and we had a great first date, and we didn't go all the way, but we kind of went all the way. But I just knew that this girl will lose interest quick because of her, at the time, it was something new, something fresh, buying temperature. But I was able to get her out of her old dating style and kind of go into my new dating style, enjoy me. But then I knew that if I didn't physically be intimate with her, there's a chance that she might lose her buying temperature and move on to another guy or just be more promiscuous. I could tell she was promiscuous, actually. I'm not saying she was the S word, but I'm just saying I could tell she is open to dating multiple men, and that's just who she is. And I remember she kind of got her needs out of me in that moment, and I think she's moving on. And I could tell the way she texts me and all that stuff. So what I realized is, first off, she will come back, right? As long as she seeks what I gave to her on the first day, and she gets that feeling. But we'll see, right? But the whole point is that I think women want to feel when they see you. And the issue that I sometimes we cold approach is that as men, we don't know yet how to game her in person and verbally to make her feel a certain way. So a lot of you guys who are still sticking to cold approach, by all means go for it, because that'll teach you the basic skills of social. But I think the biggest struggle you have to watch out for is that sometimes that women, like, I'm telling you, like, why not supplement, right? Like, I literally had girls where I go approach them, they kind of rejected me, but I got their Instagram and said, let's be Instagram friends. And then after, they're interested in me because they see my Instagram. Yeah, it's because of the followers and all that, the blue check mark, whatever. That could be it also, but some attractive girls could meet a lot of those. So it's kind of the story you tell, right? So I think it's interesting how I've been beta testing my students' Instagram, and literally girls are calling them hot before they met them. And that's huge. Like, I never had my students being called hot in a cold approach, right? Most of my students, straight up, like when we cold approach, none of them are called hot. But now with Instagram, my students, and it's not like I'm catfishing these girls with my students and editing them so much, but I make them their lifestyle so cool, so awesome, that the girls actually find them hot in multitude of ways, not just physical. So I hope this makes sense. It's kind of very advanced the way I'm thinking about it right now, but it just happened, and it's actually the photo of my girl's friend saying that my student's hot is actually in the Facebook group. So if you would love to join, subscribe to this channel, like it, comment, and go to the description, go to the Facebook channel. But yeah, it's crazy because I never, I gotta find out if my student ever's been called hot physically. But like, to be honest, he definitely was good looking when he was younger, but he obviously got older and gained a little weight. But for him to be called hot, I'm pretty sure when I was coaching him for a whole past year, he hasn't told me he got called hot. But for the first time, ever since I managed his Instagram and creating a lifestyle, creating attraction, he's being called hot. So this is a very interesting concept, very powerful concept that you guys need to understand, is that you guys can supplement your game, supplement your dating life with Instagram or some kind of social media to make yourselves look hot. And lucky for you, hot doesn't mean just physical for women. So I really hope that helped, guys. This is huge. I think this is such a must. Now with threads coming out and all that stuff, I really think you guys should get onto social media and really help your case in terms when it comes to dating women. It's been a pleasure. Captain Daniel, out.